If we're going to fix our food system and we're going to fix the economy, we have to address the problem of the speed of capital. We're all facing every day the problems of money that's zooming around the planet, going faster and faster, disconnected from people and place. It's time to move in a new direction. We have to bring money back down to earth.
It seems to me there's something fundamentally wrong with capitalism as we practice it right now. We're only looking at how much money we make from it. We're not looking at the entire picture.
Because the whole system is broken down. We've seen this with the financial collapse. We've gone into the stratosphere in terms of what we value. And we are going to have to change our value system. We're going to have to change the way we use money. We are going to have to focus on our safety. We've forgotten about how to take care of ourselves.
You know, I've always felt the importance of investing locally, that we need to not only buy local food and so on, but we also need to invest locally. And we need to inspire people to do that.
Community-supported agriculture, CSAs, the very essence of them is sharing the risk and the bounty. It's connecting people again with the land where their food comes from.
Our first focus is going to be in finding farmers, finding CSAs, connecting people to the farm, connecting people's money to that whole infrastructure. We don't have any infrastructure for that. Our connection to food is the grocery store.
Woody has actually written a book of poetry on finance. The entire book is poetry, it's beautiful, and it engages the imagination in a way that a traditional book on finance wouldn't. This allows us to now think in new ways, or gives us permission to think in new ways, and that's exactly what is required to get us out of the kind of mess we find ourselves in right now.
There comes a point when you just have to make that connection. The planet is in crisis. All of the indicators point that way, and slow money is directly addressing the challenge of recreating the financial system.
If we do not actually consciously put these principles or embed these principles and values into our investing and into our whole financial system, then it will run amok. It will become a monster.
Slow money means rebuilding relationships. It means slowing things down to the point where we actually see the relationships between ourselves and each other, our inner life and our outer life, ourselves and nature. Once we begin to really consciously experience those relationships, as opposed to just experiencing the separate pieces, I think we're in for a whole new world.
There is such a thing as money that is too fast. What if we all invested 50% of our money within 50 miles of where we lived? What if there were 50% more organic matter in the soil 50 years from now? What if there were a new generation of companies that gave away 50% of their profits? That last question is inspired by Newman's Own, which set beautiful new standards for giving back. In fact, Paul Newman said it best himself. He said, in life we need to be more like the farmer who puts back what he takes out. I can't think of a better way of summarizing the spirit of slow money.
The good news is that lots of investors feel this same way. The good news is lots of people understand this. The good news is this is not a new idea. The bad news is we don't really yet have vehicles by which people can practice those ideas, can practice that behavior. And that's what slow money is going to do. We'll be building funds, we'll be developing ways in which investors can come in contact with local food system entrepreneurs, and from that, we will learn how to do slow money.
Slow money is about building the venture capital industry. We have venture capital for high-tech companies. We need to do something of similar power for the tens of thousands of small food enterprises across the United States. What are we talking about? Small and mid-sized organic farms, niche organic brands, slow food restaurants, local processing. These are the earthworms in the soil of the restorative economy.
I coined a term called getting a living return. When we invest locally, we not only get a financial return, but we get a living return because we're living in a more sustainable local economy. And I think that's what slow money is doing. It's helping people understand that when we invest in our local food system, we get a living return of being able to eat more healthy food.
Slow Money will be developing ways in which investors can place their capital in a nonviolent fashion, where they can consider the effects that capital has on local people, on the environment, on the planet, on the soil, can consider that and put their capital at work without just thinking of profits, but also thinking about how it affects people. I mean, it's as simple as that, isn't it?
As our good friend David Orr has observed, there's an appropriate velocity for water. There's an appropriate velocity for information. And there's an appropriate velocity for money. If you're listening to me now, it means you're thinking about joining the Slow Money Alliance. We'd love to have you as a member, but I want you to think about this membership as something very different. Becoming a member of this alliance means you are becoming an investor in the world's first grassroots nonprofit venture fund. What in the world could that mean? What it could mean is tens of thousands or more Americans making contributions of whatever size they feel comfortable making, and as we aggregate that money, we are going to invest it to start building local food systems in this country, bypassing investment funds, organized foundations, and creating a whole new kind of philanthropy. So please look over this page, think about it some more, and we'd love to have you join us.
Who are you guys with?
Slow Money.
And what's with the name?
So tell me again, how's slow money like manure?